I know you've spent the morning here at Curve watching some of Curve workshops, in particular the Little Curve workshop and Shine itself, the project, speaking to participants, parents, to young people themselves. And I just wonder, what do you think is the benefit of young people engaging with arts and education and the theatre?
Yeah, so look, it's what two fantastic programs. The Little Curve, oh my goodness, it was so good to see dads, grandmas, mums with babies, and to watch the confidence of both the adults and the children in terms of getting involved and having fun and singing and all those wonderful things. And so that was amazing. And we cannot stress the importance of early years engagement enough. It's got to be that investment in that we know pays back 1,000%, and to do it with story, with drama, with arts, which is what this beautiful place can do, is absolutely what we should be doing. We know the impact is massive. In terms of the Shine programme, look, that's a group of young people that have been identified by their teachers, by their school, who would benefit from greater confidence. So what do? Bring them here and actually let them learn that confidence through drama, through acting. And there's the key. When we were doing the curriculum review up at Westminster, everybody's obsessing about maths, about English, about whatever. What did the children tell me about? We want more drama, we want more arts. What's our big problem? Workforce, because we've been pushing those things away and doing these subjects that are very important, but that actually don't do the engagement and motivation that children, need to get on board with the rest of their education. And that's really the unique thing about both the Shine programme and, the arts in schools, the wider form of arts. I cannot underestimate how important the arts are for the emotional development, the well-being, and the kind of life of teenagers, of children, but also of the place. I will always remember this fantastic place in Leicester that is its beating heart.
One of the big things at the moment that we hear so much about is around mental health and well-being and how young people are feeling about themselves, which is a big part of what you're doing. I mean, Chris, you're in partnership with the Randal Foundation. You've decided, the two of you, as organisations, to lead with this. There's so much that you do at Curve. This is a 3-year project. Why do this project now?
Good question. It really came out of the pandemic. I think we saw in Leicester, we were in lockdown restrictions longer than anywhere else in the UK. And on our doorstep, inequalities didn't just seem wide, but they were far deeper. We know that we're in this extraordinary resource, aren't we? But just on our doorstep are some of the most deprived areas in this country. And so as we were emerging from the pandemic, we really wanted to make sure this theatre and what we do matters to everyone, and truly everyone, who lives, works and learns in our local community. It then became more and more apparent when we were devising programmes of work in what we call our neighbour hub areas. So these are 5 areas of what one would describe as most economically challenged within Leicester. These neighbour hub areas we've been working with now for a few years, but what became really apparent is mental health challenges that young people were experiencing.
It seems like the perfect moment, really, Dr. Kotecha, to talk to you about why you decided to partner with Curve and to get involved in this project.
Well, my wife Moni and I set up the Randal Foundation probably about 9 years ago, and we had a very clear aspiration, and that was to save and significantly improve lives. And our ambition is 1 million lives here in the UK and globally. And we were very clear very early on that it was youngsters was a real opportunity to help people, because we've just heard about mental health, and we do a lot of work around mental health, especially around the deep end of mental health, suicide. But over 9 years, I've been learning how to save lives in the UK. And one of the big things that comes to, and Rachel's talked about this, many others have, is that lack of self-esteem, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-awareness, just being able to stand up and having an opportunity or raising aspirations. These are all great ways with youngsters that we can save lives. and really improve lives as well. So when Chris came to me and we sat down and we talked about this, we've done a lot of projects in Leicestershire and nationally, including education within 2 universities. So this is formal education to go to get degrees. But arts, culture, drama, and the way this program works is really about building confidence for those individuals who have been identified in schools which maybe haven't got that confidence yet to really stand up and look after themselves and make sure that they can communicate properly. I'm very proud that we're working with Curve Theatre and we're really making a difference. We've got 5 schools. I'd love to see it get bigger and better.
I know that you sit on a steering group of, a really impressive group. You've got the former Secretary of State for Education, Baroness Morgan of Coates, the MP for Leicester South, Showkat Adam, Richard Mitchell, who's Chief Executive of University Hospitals of Leicester NHS Trust, and also the Northamptonshire NHS Group, the Vice-Chancellor of De Montfort University, Katie Normington, and the former Leicester South MP, Jonathan Ashworth. I know that you recently all met to discuss how this first year has gone and how to take the programme forward. What do you make of the results so far?
Well, it's really exciting. And first, I should say that's a very influential and busy group of people. So my great thanks to all of them for joining this programme and really for their experience, their knowledge, and also their voice to support something like Shine. Well, we've already helped 100 people and we're just getting started, in my opinion. There's a lot of opportunity here. Youngsters need this support. And I think we were very keen very early on to have the right partners around it. For me, as an individual, I'm a scientist by training. So evidence, impact, outcomes really matter. And having the help of De Montfort University, who is working with us on the Shine project, to really look at qualitatively of how it's making a difference to the youngsters' lives, but also quantitatively, what can we learn from this project and how can we scale it? And from what we're seeing, it's looking really good at the moment. It's helping a lot of individuals, and I think there's still a lot more to come.
I mean, we have big ambitions for the programme. We loved that it was something that was happening right across this city, and it was something that was happening all the time, every day. But the bigger ambition would be that it would be rolled out nationally, and that hopefully with curriculum reform is that this can help shape some thinking around the new curriculum. We know arts should be a right for every single young person. We know that not all young people engage with the arts because they simply do not have the resource and their school curriculum does not allow for it. We really want to make sure that programmes like Shine can really help inform and shape the next national curriculum. That would be our big ambition.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we're working to. I think Project Shine here with the Curve Theatre is a prototype to see how this works. We gather the evidence. This is needed all over the UK. And I'm a real believer that philanthropic capital is seed capital, working with private sector organisations, is getting something started, getting something understood, creating the evidence, and then it's government's job to come in and support. Can you imagine if every theatre in the UK had a little bit of money to do these type of projects and run in schools all around the UK? What a difference that's going to make to youngsters' lives.
And someone who gets to work with these young people day in, day out, Velisha, you are, in the room with Shine students, if you like, in one of the Shine schools. What difference are you seeing in the classroom?
We're seeing students that maybe would normally go under the radar, the ones that would be a bit more quiet. They are more open to putting their hands up to answer questions, approaching staff, just seeing their confidence and their self-esteem grow within themselves has been really impactful. Not just in the classrooms across the wider school, we're seeing friendships blossom through Shine programme as well, and that's sort of translated into the wider school as well.
Why do you think it's important that these young people in particular have access to something like Shine?
I think education as a whole has so much emphasis on the academic side of the curriculum that we forget their children, and one of the ways that they learn best is through that creative, explorative play methods, and I'm a firm believer of that, and it's a lot of the way we work in our school as well. So having that safe space where the children can explore those big and deep feelings with trusted adults in the room, I think that's been really, really important part of seeing that development across the 2 cycles that we've had so far.
I know it's only in year one,
Yeah.
but are the results telling you anything so far?
Yeah, I mean, the results are really exciting. We are seeing some expected outcomes. So I think what we've all been talking about here is the UK and the European Commission acknowledge that drama helps to deliver what they call the 4 Cs to young people. So we have communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. And we're seeing those as fundamental principles of what young people are learning. And they're transferable skills. You take them with you wherever you go. So we are seeing increases in resilience and confidence, and also making friends, which I think is something that's really important for the work that you're doing, Dame Rachel. And then we're seeing unintended outcomes as well, which is really exciting. We now have children reversing their non-attendance at school, because they now feel able to manage in that space. We're seeing children bringing together those drama skills and the therapeutic skills as well, and having creativity in applying some of those management strategies, which is an entirely different approach.
Shelley, last but not least, you are Shine's therapeutic partner. Can you just explain what that looks like?
Yeah, so Sunrise Wellbeing is a holistic hub of therapeutic support, and we're based in Groby, but we have a team of practitioners that work Leicester, Leicestershire and Derbyshire. And I just wanted to start off just by saying how proud I am. We're talking about emotions and supporting young people with putting their emotions into words and having creative interventions to express their feelings. And it's just such a really special programme to be a part of. And I think Sunrise Wellbeing being a partner, it provides that kind of expertise of therapeutic support, the awareness of mental health and wellbeing, the different things like the student who was talking about the breathing. You know, we underestimate our breath, but it's such a powerful tool, you know, when we're feeling overwhelmed or anxious or stressed. So young people learning how to implement these tools into their day-to-day life alongside being within the Shine space and really feeling that sense of belonging, being able to express themselves as a person. And I think just the evidence that we see when we do our reflections and our evaluations, it's just so lovely to see those students using those skills that they're learning. We do have our wonderful Carla, who's here today, who's our therapeutic practitioner. Carla goes into the Shine sessions at each school 3 times. So that's a really special element of the programme. So she will go in at the beginning and the middle and the end. So that again provides that emotional literacy teaching. So again, we talk about young people expressing their feelings, knowing how they feel, but often we don't know how we feel. So having that kind of professional knowledge and guidance is really, really key as well. Sunrise Wellbeing, we also do the training, so having that kind of professional knowledge and expertise that through that whole programme, delivery of training to practitioners, to schools, and also supervision, which is really important. So one-to-one supervision is provided by Sunrise Wellbeing to all of the practitioners, because it's really important for us to look after them as well and to ensure that they're supported.